Does that mean we're on?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh, good. We're on. So, hi. Welcome to our...
Oh, I did it again.
Yes!
I did it again.
Every single time. So, this is like our 30-something or 40-something, right, episode? So, welcome. It's not important how many of these we've done. What is important is what we're going to talk about tonight. So, if you're here on Sunday, then you heard me mention a new thing that we're doing, and so we want to talk about that. And
I didn't know anything about this. I didn't. Know
Yeah,
anything
Tim
about
just learned
this.
about
He
all
just
this.
Announced it while I was gone. I don't know anything about anything tonight.
Yep. No. He's learning about this right now
That's right.
as we speak. So, so where do we start? Let's start with just generally what we're doing as a church.
For discipleship, right?
Yeah, for discipleship. So on Sunday morning, Jerry talked about the mission of the church and thought he did a good job talking about what the church is supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and modeling ourselves after the church in Antioch, being a church that worships and prays, a church that disciples and teaches people, a church that gives of our time and our finances and has godly leaders. And I'm forgetting the other 2 points. I'm
Do you
sorry,
remember that much
Dr.
stuff out of my
Schmoyer.
sermons?
No, but we had a guest speaker. I thought I should really pay attention.
Wow.
So
My feeling is hurt.
I said that one, though. What were the other two? What were the other two? Somebody who's watching.
Sorry, Jerry.
Oh, that's an important one, evangelism.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What was the sixth one?
I haven't listened to it yet.
See, none of y'all remember either. So, all right. So, anyway, that's what we're here for. And
Being
so,
gracious.
being gracious. Yes. Showing people grace. Yeah. Good job. Your wife was. Oh, that's your dad that was preaching. That doesn't count. You have to pay really close attention. So, so we have many opportunities at Crossing to do all those things. And so kind of what we want to talk about tonight is what we do in the area of teaching and discipleship. Giving people the opportunity to learn and grow in their faith. And so we have small groups. We have
Sunday morning.
Sunday
when
morning
Jerry
is an
preaches.
opportunity. Yeah. And when Tim preaches, and when Scott preaches, and when others, when anyone's preaching, really.
We have a great group of preachers right now.
Yeah. So, and then we have small groups. Small groups are a great place to learn and grow. But small groups have a little bit different purpose than what we're talking about tonight. And so, how long do we want to wait before we talk about what we're doing tonight?
Well, we're talking. What we say is we feel like there's like four primary ways you can avenues of discipleship for us. You know, like we said,
One-on-one or
one-on-one
a
or
few.
mentoring and that kind of thing. You know, and then our Bible studies are small groups. Small groups we've always said are a big deal. Sunday mornings, and then we've had our equip classes for adults. Now we're talking about adults really
Right.
now, and so we've had our equip class, and we feel like those are four avenues we've tried to throw out there for people to be able to pursue their own personal discipleship. And so what we're talking about now is we're talking about how do we begin to do that in such a way so that we create maybe a better opportunity or more opportunities for people to participate.
Mm-hmm. And so what we want to talk about tonight is taking one of those four that we've done in the past, and what we're trying to do is expand it, right? Develop it, make it a little bit more holistic in its focus, right?
Trying to do a lot of things kind of one shot, a little bit.
Okay.
You know.
So do you want to say it? Do you want me to say it?
No, this is y'all's brainchild. I just liked it.
All right. So many of you who are watching probably have come to an equip class in the past, or are at least familiar with what we've done on Thursday nights in the past. We've done some adult classes here, and we had some kids programming that ran alongside of that. But when we considered what we were doing there and what we're doing other places, kind of when we look around the church and we survey what's happening right now, identified a few issues that we feel like we see in the church. One of which being there seems to be more of a sense of people wanting more community, because now we have two services, and so there's people who attend one that don't see people that they're used to seeing because you're attending different services. So there's a greater sense maybe for community in that area. And then another thing that we've said for a long time we wanted to do was we wanted to try to minimize the number of nights a week that we're asking people to be out.
Amen.
So we realize over the course of a week, when you have a lot of different family dynamics and you have a lot of different opportunities, you have families that could be out, one night for equip classes, one night for youth group, another night for small group, another night maybe if you're serving somewhere. So you could be out 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week doing church stuff, and we don't really want you out 3 or 4 nights a week doing church stuff. So minimizing the amount of time that we're asking people to come here was an issue that we saw developing too. And so what we've decided to do is, and this is really what we want to talk about tonight, is we're taking that equip class model that we used to do on Thursday nights, where we had adult classes and we had kids programming. We're moving that to Wednesday nights and moving youth groups from Friday nights to Wednesday nights as well, so that now everything is on one night. It's only one night a week. Small group would be another night if you're doing that too. But it's only one night a week that you would come here if you're a family that has kids, across the spectrum. And we have a lot of those families right now that are kind of crossing between elementary age kids and youth group age kids now. So one night a week where we'll do, and it's not just going to be classes, it's going to be
Well, the
bigger than
emphasis
that.
is
You're
really
right.
the community part of it. I mean, that's the biggest idea. I'm afraid that some people won't catch that idea, but the biggest idea behind it is community. And then all these other things are residual or side benefits to
Yeah.
coming together like this. But it's the opportunity to be together one more time during the course of the week, as opposed to just Sunday morning. And be another time to be intentional about being around other people, being a part of the community,
Yeah, and so for someone who's like, well, I want to go back to one service because I don't see all the people that I'm used to seeing. Now this is an opportunity maybe for people from both services that are used to seeing each other that don't anymore to be in the same place at the same time and sort of reconnect like that.
And another part of that idea too is that is trying to build a bridge or trying to create an open forum or an open opportunity for that multi-generational kind of thing, for someone maybe who doesn't have children anymore to be around other people's kids, and for those relationships to be built, but especially among the parents, so that a younger couple or a younger family might feel like they have an older family to go to or to be around, or maybe in some cases, especially as transient as our area is, they might not have any grandmas or grandpas in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
Are just other people to connect to, and so having people to connect to that are that become kind of like your Pennsylvania family is no small thing,
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a community part to it, but then there's a discipleship part
Right.
too as well, where this is another opportunity for a different style of learning. So a lot of people are in a small group already, and this is not, I don't think this is meant to compete with small groups. But it's an addition to small groups in a sense that it's another opportunity for people to come and learn. I mean, the teaching styles in a lot of our small groups, I think, is conversational. Not all of them, but some of them are. Ours is very conversational, and so there'll be opportunities for me to sit in one of these classes and learn from somebody like Jerry Schmoyer, who's going to be a little bit more lecture style. He's going to come in very prepared to that class, and there's going to be a lot of really good information dumped on me to soak in. That's not the same kind of thing that I'm going to get from my small group. I'm still going to learn a lot, and my small group is still going to serve a great purpose, but it's very different. And the learning style, and not all the classes will be like that. Some of our classes will be discussion groups too, but you know, again, there's going to be like, with us doing this, there could be like a smorgasbord of different opportunities that people have where you could take different types of classes and things like that. So,
Yeah, I wonder if is it just, you guys think, for growing your own discipleship, or is this an opportunity to help make disciples
absolutely.
too? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. It's a huge opportunity to help make disciples. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about, is it's like a one-stop place where Jared and his staff are there with their kids making disciples. I don't know how you feel about the people that are serving with the kids. I'm offering them serve for a month or two and then go ahead and take an equip class and hop back in with us and kind of mix it up and grow and serve in a one-stop shop kind of thing.
Why don't you explain kind of what we think the four or five basic elements of the evening are, so people have a sense of how, like, that multi-generational thing happens with having children's ministry, with the youth ministry, with equip classes and everything like that. How do those opportunities exist?
well, there'll be, I mean, mainly there's a lot of opportunity for overlapping, you know, for people, I guess, not being so segmented. And again, like in the past, we were segmented by days of the week. So like, you know, if you don't have a kid in a youth group, you never see you don't ever see the youth group kids. You don't know who's on their staff. You're never really interacting with those people. Well, now this is an opportunity for those kids to see a bunch of adults at church too. Those kids are used to coming here on Friday nights and seeing their staff and, for the most part, an empty building. You know, now those kids are going to come here, and those kids are going to see hopefully a lot of other adults and a lot of new people that they don't know that they're meeting and stuff. And then, I mean, there's the serving aspect of it too, which we've kind of already alluded to. Just by serving, there's a lot of room there, again, for overlapping and new relationships and new, you know, new opportunities to invest in people that you may not otherwise have an opportunity to. And then dinner. Actually, we haven't talked about that
That's
yet,
right.
but dinner. There's that way.
I was
Well, you
about
can
to
say
just,
it.
like, reach
I know.
across
You should say it.
What about dinner? Yeah.
You should say it. So, yeah, so dinner will be a part of it too. So just on the night as a whole, it'll be Wednesday nights. We're looking at 5:30 to 8:30. Youth group would be the 6:30 to 8:30 part of that. But then dinner at 5:30, and then after dinner, you know, people would kind of go out to different places. So the youth go to their place, the kids would go, classes would start. There'd be a little bit of time for people to hang out in between. We're going to try to have coffee. But yeah, dinner at 5:30, that's totally bring your own. We're not going to cater. We're not going to organize food or anything like that. So just bring your dinner. We're going to set up tables in here. And then that right there, I mean, just eating. That's why all of our small groups do food, because we all know like how much fellowship, how much just life happens over food, around food. I mean, my whole life is based around food. So, so we wanted dinner to be a part of this too, so that people would come and you sit at a table with, and you meet someone that you don't know. You're meeting for the first time. Maybe, you know, I've seen you at church for the last couple weeks, but I haven't met you yet. Sit down, you eat together and stuff. And so that's going to be a really simple part of the night, but I think a lot of really good stuff will happen in that like 5:30 to 6:30 hour around dinner that we will never be able to plan for that.
Right.
Or, you know, who knows? We probably won't believe some of the stories, you know,
even
a
for
year from now,
outreach.
stuff that we hear,
Yeah.
like, oh, did you know this happened or that happened that night? We were talking to them at dinner. So,
Or new people coming in to get to know us in a casual, more, and not such a formal setting.
Right.
Could be outreach, you know, like chili cook-off, but smaller and more intimate, maybe, kind of a
Or
thing.
the Easter potluck.
Or the Easter potluck, exactly.
You know, there were some
Those
good things
really
that happened in
sweet
Easter
things happen
potluck
there.
that first year or two. We were all kind of surprised by. You know,
Yeah.
there's another church here in our area that does this, and they routinely say they had 60 showing up for the meal part. That was just for the eating part.
Well,
and
they
then-
cooked though, right?
And they cooked. Yeah, they cooked. Yeah. You know, but they still, they had good numbers showing up for it and everything like that. So,
It's good.
Great to make a good point that youth groupers will be able to see their place in the body of Christ instead of just where they're at in their life right now. And that's
Yeah.
true, and that's what we want. I mean, that's right now we feel like in the course of a week we are fragmented. And so to be able to put everything on one night, again, it shows the little kids, they see their parents, they see adults going to classes and learning and eating together and laughing together. And so the little kids see that. There's so much of, so much that's caught, not taught, that idea of just
Yeah.
how much you learn by what you experience and what you see modeled in front of you, not necessarily what's taught from a book. And so a lot of that, a lot of that's going to take place where you have kids, the little kids, youth group kids, kind of learning what church looks like, and not church like Sunday morning church, learning what the body of Christ looks like by being here in a much different setting than on a Sunday morning, where they're here and they see people interacting with each other and eating together. And
I think that Sunday morning has got us down that road a long way, because people will say that they like seeing someone else's kids, in church, and they get to know who those kids are now, but they're not getting to be around the kids other than just watching them. This is an opportunity to take it one step further, to sit across the table and have dinner with them for a few minutes before everyone goes off to their different activities and all, and so then speak to the drop off. Is this designed for people to bring their kids and be able to go and have dinner together afterwards? They can just leave their kids here to go to have dinner?
no, I don't think that we want it to turn into a babysitting service.
No?
No, I don't think so.
But we could teach your kids about Jesus while they go to have dinner.
We could.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
But that's not the point.
But that's not the point.
And we bring that up to say that we would prefer you not drop off your kids while you go and have dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Because it defeats the purpose, because what we're looking for is those families to come together, and to be together here and everything,
Yeah. To answer Melissa's question, Melissa said, do you not think potluck would work? I think that Grace is on, I think that she's kind of got our thinking on that, is that if families wanted to privately organize that, like I can see, a couple of families from a small group or maybe just a couple of friends sort of organizing that on their own, and that would be totally fine. With the food part of it, at least my thought right now, and you guys, I'm sort of speaking for just what we've discussed. I think that our thought is if people want to organize food to bring, like a potluck, that's totally up to you. That's totally up to the people that you want to organize that with. But we're not going to offer that or try to organize that, from a church staff perspective.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to do that, that's fine. We'll probably eat some of your food, but we're not going to organize that ourselves. But you're free to.
The problem with it is, kind of from my perspective, and having done a lot of baptism picnics here, is that you won't have enough food, and then you feel compelled to have to go out and buy it. And then there's also the very real danger that all you would get was kale, and we'd have to share that, and that would be a disaster.
No one's bringing kale.
That should be a rule. You cannot have discipleship.
That
with
is a
kale.
rule.
Yeah.
It is a rule. If
But
you bring kale, you have to leave.
It's just been that my
There's some really
experience has
good
been
kale
that,
things.
that if you
There are.
organize the potluck a
Speaking
little
of for
bit,
kale.
that's okay. But it's like, historically, I have run down to Giant one too many times to go get a vegetable, because we had a lot of meat, a lot of dessert, and one green bean casserole, or something like that. And so, I potlucks trigger me. Until I
They shouldn't. You
until
can't
I
be
start eating at them.
Yeah. You can't be a pastor from Texas
And
not
not,
be,
yeah, really,
not
that's
be
right.
totally
Well,
on board with potlucks.
In Texas, though, it's all those little country gals taking care of it. The pastor don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, look, she's even suggesting recipes for kale on there.
Who is?
Melissa.
Go girl.
With toasted walnuts.
That sounds pretty
Yes,
good,
it could be good.
without the kale, though. Maybe just the
Melissa,
toasted
don't
walnuts.
listen. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Your wife had kale salad for lunch.
Oh man, at Chick-fil-A too, I think. So
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so walk us through what we think this evening would look like. You know, you show up at 5:30, and we share a meal together.
No kale.
No kale, a no kale meal together.
There's a kale-less meal here.
A kale-less meal. Yeah, that's hard to say for me to say. It's kind of like naked. I can't say that. Not that. It's kind of like I can't say.
No,
that.
there won't
That's
be
what I
none of
mean.
that.
Yeah.
Everyone will be fully clothed.
Yes, that's true. But
And there will
it's-
be no
words are
kale.
hard to say. That's what I'm saying.
People enjoy kale.
So you come at 5:30 and you share a meal, and then what happens next?
So we will share a meal, and then I don't know, 6:15ish, we'll start to kind of pick up and let the youth group start to get ready to go because they're going to start at 6:30. So then from like 6:30-ish on after that, you've got a few minutes of kind of hanging out, get some coffee or whatever, get ready to go to your class. Classes would start at 7, be from 7 to 8. And then unless, because you guys are planning on ending at 8 with the kids, right?
Well, we will ongoing. For starters, we're doing our VBS program from the summer, so it's going to go to 8:30. So we're going to start right at 6:30 with our programming for those first 5 weeks, and then we'll be done at 8:30 with everybody else. But then after that, we'll have, like we did with our Wednesday nights, we had parents and kids doing Bible skills games. So Kevin Belmont was doing sword drills, and it was fun watching Trip watch him, things like that. And then then the parents can go ahead and go to their classes or stay and help with their kids or whatever they want to do, pray with somebody. And then we'll have 7 to 8 classes normally. And then kids would be free to go if parents want to take them. And then, or stay and wait for youth group kids or whatever they need to do. So,
Yeah, so I mean, so unless you have youth group kids, you're done by 8. Because our classes would end at 8, and then after our VBS, modified VBS, our kids' classes would end at 8 too. So 8
people
o'clock.
like to hang out after. It's some of the best time is just hanging out and
Oh,
letting the
yeah.
kids run around and eat the snacks and whatever. So, that time is there for more fellowship, or if you have to get your
Right.
kids home, take them home and put them in bed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then youth group would wrap up at 8:30, and that's it until the next Wednesday night. So that's kind of what Wednesday nights look like. We're thinking what we'd like to do is offer 3 adult classes. And, what we also need to say, because I don't think it's been said yet, is in the past when we did equip classes and we did this kind of a thing, we did it for like 8 or 10 weeks at a time in the spring and then another 8 or 10 weeks in the fall. This will be an ongoing program with a break in December for Christmas and then a break in the summer.
Yeah.
But, not counting those 2 breaks, this is just going to be every Wednesday night for us
Yeah.
now. So be a little bit easier to keep up with, a little bit easier to get as a regular part of your schedule or a regular part of your routine. And so we're looking at 3 classes, what we'd like to do. One that would be a Bible. So, we would always have a Bible class going, some kind of book of the Bible. Like to rotate, Old Testament, New Testament, something of that nature. One topical class, so finances, spiritual gifts, marriage, parenting, whatever.
Yeah.
Some kind of topical. And then one book discussion where we just take a book, Mere Christianity or, I don't know, whatever.
Systematic theology. Small book.
Yeah, possibly. But so those are the 3 adult class offerings that we're looking at. And so those would be available all the time.
Yep. And then, the other thing would be that anytime you're making a change in a program or a product, you usually need to do some consumer research.
And that's what you all are here for tonight. Oh,
So I do know that both of you guys spent time with your parents and everything, talking to them. So, Jared, what was some of the feedback you got at your parent meeting? I know you had one particular parent meeting where you discussed this, and also what was your feedback like with your parent meeting on this for moving to Wednesday night?
It was pretty positive. there were questions about, what about homework and stuff? And I was like, I get that. I'm in seminary, and it's the middle of the week for me too. And but I mean, overall, they got it. They understood it. I mean, Marla was there. She was one of the parents there, because Stephen's in youth group, and at the time Silas was before he graduated. And so we talked about all those things and what it meant for our church. And I just explained to them, I said, I think this, and I don't think this is an overstatement. I think we're all convinced that this will cultivate better discipleship holistically in our church, right? So it's not just families. When we say families, it's not just families with kids, like parents and kids. We're talking about the church family. We're talking about our family holistically, multi-generational, multi-ethnic discipleship of people to fellowship with one another. And we've always talked about this. I mean, me, you, and Steve have talked about this for like the past 5 years since I started, what that would look like. But they were really, it was well received, and some of them are really excited. Some other people are less excited. I have some students that are like, oh, I can't make Wednesdays happen because I go to a different youth group. I mean, and unfortunately, those students aren't, then their families don't attend here. Like they're kids that were in extra youth group and that we developed relationships with, but it's not going to make everyone happy. You know what I mean? And it's really what's best holistically for our church.
Marla, what about your feedback from your panels?
Yeah, I would say similarly, it was really positive in the general case. I think they liked the idea. We used to get together on Wednesday nights when it was just parents with young kids, and that was really fun. I think it was good cultural cross support for that demographic. But they were excited about getting out and meeting more, rubbing shoulders with the rest of the church. Watching the youth group, watching people with older kids, getting to know them more informally and more formally. I think they also really liked the fact that it was going to consolidate the calendar, because we used to have events on Saturdays too, and so the Dream Team guys, I love the Dream Team, it's wonderful, but they were asking to let's stop the Saturday things and put the Harvest Party on a Wednesday night, or the Samaritan's Purse on a Wednesday night, so that they could just block that time out, and their weekends that run crazy for sports or whatever's happening with their kids, they'd be able to breathe on Saturdays and things. So I think the idea of consolidating the calendar is a real big positive for most everybody I talked to. They didn't feel like Steve was saying it's not competing with small groups. They're committed to their small groups. It's a very different function. So they felt that they'd be able to maintain both. They might not be at Wednesdays all the time. They might happen for this or that. But generally speaking, I didn't have any negative feedback from the people I was talking to.
Yeah.
So.
Melissa asked a really good question about that were you talking about family, and so she brought up the issue of like singles feeling like they were welcome, and that it's not just for families. And so, what would be some of your thoughts about that? Because I don't think that's the intention at all, but it's really important about the language we use for this and the way we position it. Because I still think that we need to move away from talking about families and talk about church community.
Yes, I think that's a better term.
I think that's the biggest discipleship in church community. And I think that is the big target we want.
Yeah.
Is that we want to offer another opportunity for discipleship that gives perhaps more people the opportunity to participate, and maybe is more enticing to participate. And we want to do it in such a way that people get to know each other in a context that they wouldn't necessarily know each other. And so it'd be very possible for someone who's going to one of our young adult groups who are single to never meet anyone who's not single, on a Sunday morning or something like that. But on a Wednesday night, they could come and have dinner together before they went to that single thing, or before they went to an equip class, or whether they just came and ate and left.
Or plug in serving with something.
Yeah, exactly. And so we really have to be careful about the way we talk about this and the way we position it in our church, because we do really want it to be discipleship in our church community. And I think that her question really brings up a very good point that we have to be very attuned to.
Yeah. But I think that I agree that I think we need to be really intentional about the language that we use and stuff. But Grace, I think, made a good point here. She said it's going to be so good to have a program that doesn't require you to bring children or be a married person
yeah.
to enjoy what's happening at church. She said this should include more singles than ever. And I think that that's really true because, we're talking a lot about the benefits of consolidating all of these different ministries on one night, children's ministry and youth ministry and classes and stuff. And so I'm sort of, I think in my mind, I focus on that perk of it as a really big perk because that's actually a really personal perk to me. I have kids, Logan would be here on, Thursday nights, and then I have my older two who are in the youth group now. So we'd be here both nights. In the past, whereas this now we go to one night. But I think when I step back and look at the program from a kind of a whole church standpoint, I know that every family is not like mine, and so I think that it does offer something for every person, whether single or families or whatever. So I'm talking about that kind of that family perk of it for myself, but I think if we just were to talk about the adult classes and the dinner portion of it, to focus on that, I think there's a ton of benefit and a ton of positive there for single people or empty nesters, even people, not even necessarily single people, but people who just don't have kids that they're bringing anymore. It's not like, it's not like you have to have kids in the children's ministry or youth ministry in order to participate. It is a kind of a whole church focus where anybody at any stage could come here and you can eat dinner, you can take a class. If you have kids, your kids can go to their thing. So, but I also agree that we have to be really intentional. I think Melissa followed that up.
I think Melissa's comment is stellar.
Yeah, followed that up with something about just being intentional about welcoming those people, and that's really true. What we don't want to happen is for people to come on Wednesday night and just get in their groups that they're already in on Sunday morning, and that they're already in their small group. We don't,
exactly.
It's a chance for us to get outside of those normal bubbles a little bit, and like you said, go rub shoulders with people that we don't normally.
Yeah.
I think our church is already really good at that. I think we're kind of known for that. I think this is a landing platform where we can just do it ongoing in a more intentional way. So that'd be our prayer, that everybody would feel welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really good. What are the aspects of the program have we not talked about yet when we talked about planning this and all?
Well, somebody might ask, why on a Wednesday night? What if my small group meets on a Wednesday night?
Because two of them do. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm asking you. I'm the person. My small group meets on Wednesday night. Pastor Tim, how dare you put a thing on the same night as my small group?
We talked to your small group leader. We had to take that in consideration, and the fact of the matter is that we were trying to make a choice to be the best for the entire church, and at the same time we are not mandating or forcing, like some churches would and do, say that everything has to happen in a certain way. We're not mandating or forcing that any conflicting event or group or activity on Wednesday nights needs to yield and capitulate to this. And so, the two small groups that are currently meeting, we encourage them to continue to do so, encourage them to participate as works best for them, and don't want to take anything away from all that. But what we think is that for our church, this emphasis on community is an important thing. And so, out of the 250 or 60 of us who call this church, we're not getting to see each other the way we want to. And Wednesday night is not the answer to that. It's one more component to that.
Right. It's a piece of it.
Yeah, it's another piece to that. And so, and I really hope that one of the goals that comes out of this, or one of the results that comes out of this, is like we've said, is that our families will be intentional, and I think we ought to talk about this a lot. When people start showing up, and I see you sitting down with the Androses again, you just start walking around saying, all you Androses go over there with that old people over there that don't know you, and doing stuff like that. I don't know if that's where we'll go to, but that's the intention we want. We
Yeah.
want people to sit and build new relationships. And if the same people don't want to sit with you next time, that means you probably got a problem with your children. But so that's what we want. We want people to come together and say, "I don't know you. Can I sit with you?"
I think a lot of that will happen naturally too. Like once the classes get going and you see who's in,
Yeah.
I mean, the classes
Yeah.
will change, every so often, month or 2 months or so, the classes will change. But after you've been in your class for a couple weeks, you kind of see who's in there. Then I think that some of that will happen naturally where the people who are in classes will end up probably sitting together because they're going to probably talk about a little bit, what we talked about last time or what we're talking about in class tonight or whatever. So, the adult classes are going to be mixing a lot. It's not like all the singles are going to go to the singles class and all the 20-somethings are going to go to the 20-something class and
Right.
all the empty nesters are going to go to the empty nester class. I mean, they're just, classes are what they are for adults, and so there will be a lot of overlap there, and some of that will carry over naturally into those dinner table groupings probably in the following weeks.
Yep. Yep. So when is the big idea? When is the new and shiny going to kick off here?
The new and shiny kicks off on September the 29th. Is that right?
Yep.
That's a Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
The last Wednesday night of September, the 29th, we will do a kickoff night that night, where we're just going to come together and probably have dinner and just kind of talk about what to expect. And I think sort of introduce. We haven't really planned out that night 100%, but that's meant to be kind of a fun night for us to get together and just look forward to what's happening. So we'll know, we should know sooner than that, but we will at least on that night have the classes that will be offered, and so we'll be able to sign up for what classes. We should have that out before that, but if you're still not signed up for a class, you know who's teaching and what classes are going to be offered and stuff, and have an opportunity to talk to, I'm guessing, Jared, talk to Marla about maybe serving. If you have an interest in serving in youth ministry or children's ministry, you can find out what they're doing in their programs. And so we'll do that kickoff night on the 29th, and then classes will start the following Wednesday on October the 5th. Is that right?
Yep. And this
Fifth?
time they go through. We go through the Wednesday night. A week before
The week
Thanksgiving,
before
yeah.
Thanksgiving. The Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, we have our Thanksgiving Eve service.
Right.
So the
Right.
Wednesday before that, which I don't have that date off the top of my head.
And then we break for the
But-
month of December and start back up in January.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And then January, we go January until sometime in the summer, sometime in June or July probably.
So then speak to this then. So does that mean that if I'm going to sign up for an equip class, it's going to go from January to June?
Say that again?
Well, if I sign up for an equip class in January, does that mean it's going to last till June?
Oh, no, the classes will rotate, I think, on a 1 month or a 2 month basis. They'll always be.
Unless, for instance, like in financial peace, that one would run its full gamut because it's
Right.
a strict curriculum.
Right. Financial Peace is pretty strict curriculum, but we'll try to keep all the classes to a 1 month or a 2 month time slot, so that way, if somebody wants to serve, you could serve, and I can serve for 1 month or 2 months, and then I could come back to taking a class or something like that. That way, if there's not a class that's interesting you right now, but I want to wait to see what's next, I know that the next one's going to start on the first Wednesday of a month. Classes are always going to end on the last Wednesday of a month. So we're going to try to keep them on a schedule like that. And we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys are planning for those times besides classes?
That's true. I was wanting to bring that up too, what she said.
Yeah, we will also, I think, be able to do orientation classes and stuff like that during those time slots. So
Yeah.
we have to work out some spacing issues probably and see what's happening with that. But yeah, but we would like to be able to offer, in the past we've done orientation classes on Sunday evenings. And then when we do that, there's like an issue of, do we have childcare? Do we not? Kind of depends on who signs up. What if we don't know? Someone's bringing kids until the last minute and whatever. So being able to do orientation classes and other one-off kind of meetings or classes like that during this time slot too would build into the night childcare, because you could drop your kids off. You have dinner built in. You can come eat and hang out, and then you can go do your thing, take your kids where they need to go. And so I think it'll be a very versatile evening for us. I think it'll give us a good opportunity to accomplish a lot of things that we want to do, and just be able to do it all in one night. And then we just kind of know too, it'll make it really easy for people to keep up with when things are happening, because all that kind of stuff, we'll just do that on a Wednesday night.
Good.
So
And if this does really well, we'll have to build a yurt out there in the grass.
A what?
A yurt.
What's
You know
a yurt?
A tent.
Oh,
It's
just
a-
say tent.
Yurts are more fun.
Oh.
Build a yurt out there for an extra classroom in the grass area.
Portable buildings.
Yeah.
We start popping up portable buildings all
Yeah.
over the place.
We will. Buy one of those big old railroad cars. Put a class in it.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
A nice problem to have.
we get those shipping containers.
That'd be a nice problem. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just get some of those shipping containers.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious about one thing. If there's a topic that you'd be interested in hearing about, Todd or something, I'd be curious if you want to throw in the comments. I'd love to hear about that. We touched on the schedule for the annual schedule, the yearly schedule, so to speak, and all. We've touched on the evening schedule, kind of what that would look like a little bit. We've touched on what we hope our goals are, what we hope comes out of this and everything. And I think that we've often talked about what we want us, the ethos of our church to be often. And it kind of moved around, a little bit. But I would kind of hope that this would be the kind of thing that becomes very much an ethos kind of thing for us, that this is what we do. And that on a Sunday morning, when you see someone new there, you'd say, hey, have you thought about coming out Wednesday night? You can sit down with us for dinner on Wednesday night. That kind of thing there. I would hope that becomes what's really normal and typical for us, and our people get really comfortable with it and want to see it grow that way,
Yeah. Where I'm from, it is part of the ethos.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
Church on Wednesday nights is just another part of what you do in your week.
Mhm.
You have church on Sunday morning. A lot of churches used to be Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. Sunday
And you
night.
could wear pants on Sunday night and Wednesday night if you're a lady. I said if you're a lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, we recommend that you wear pants no
All
matter
the
who you are,
time.
all the time. But I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, it's one of those kind of
You're
comments.
talking about Texas and how that's just the way it is down there.
Oh yeah, Sunday nights have kind of
Thanks, Marla.
Sunday nights have sort of fallen away off of the schedule, but Sunday morning, Wednesday night is still very
Yeah.
very normal, regular. Most most churches you walk into down there, even now, you just know they're going to have church on Sunday morning. There's going to be something like this on Wednesday nights, and we're not, we're not doing that because we're trying to recreate something like that, just to do it. But I think it's a very popular and normal thing to do because it does have a lot of benefits. It does work in many cases, and it does achieve a lot of goals. It does work for us in a lot of different areas, and so I think that we have, we have a good small group ministry. We have good participation in our small group ministry, but this will give us something else to reach people that may not be able to be reached by our small group ministry for whatever reason. Maybe the nights, their schedule conflicts with small groups that we have available at the time. or quite honestly, maybe they're just not small group people. I mean, I've met enough people and done small group ministry enough in the past to know that there are just some people who are like, I just don't like small groups. I'll go to a class, but I don't want to sit in a small group and talk about my problems and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so, so there's just different things for different people, and this is one of those opportunities to reach more people, be able to teach and disciple and equip more people, and do it in an atmosphere that, like, we've talked about before, where there's a lot of overlap between the generations and kids and adults and old people and single people and married people and everyone together. You can't get that in a small group. So you can get intergenerational, and you can get some of that in a small group, but again, you're getting, maybe 12 or 15 or 20 people, and who knows what we get here over the course of time. Who knows what this grows into, where you have 40 youth group kids running around at the same time that you've got 30 or 40 little kids running around, and then you've got all the adults and everything. So it's just it could be a really exciting, very energetic night, kind of a midweek shot in the arm for a lot of people to come and just like, oh yeah, this, seeing people that I've missed, and how are you doing? I forgot, to ask you about that thing when I saw you on Sunday or whatever. So there's a lot of cool stuff that can happen.
One of the things that we've talked about a little bit here or there, and that's that, does this compete with small groups? And the fact of the matter is that we're not offering something more than we used to. We're offering what we used to on a different night.
Yeah.
And so, and we have small groups on Thursday night as well. And so, these two small groups do meet that night, but we've talked to them, and they were really on board with the idea and the concept and all. And so we're trying not to compete with small groups. We're taking the same thing we did it to a different night, and we have 10 or 12 small groups and events. What is it now? I don't remember.
9 or 10 small groups. So the reality is that on just about any night that we do this, we're going to compete with something.
Something, exactly, yeah. So just that thought I wanted to throw in there, because to let you know we had thought about that, so anyway. Marla, you have any other wisdom, really smart things you'd like to say, especially given this table?
Nothing smart at all, but I'm just really excited about the community, the broader community coming together. I think that word is, like, we're crossing community church on purpose,
Yeah.
and this feels like it's going to be a big community gathering. And
I think that's what some of the other elders have said they've heard more than once. That's that that they are having people say, like, we're missing each other.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
When are we going back to one service, or things like it, for that reason, not for the. So I think it will do a better job than going back to one service would have
Yeah.
for doing that.
Yeah.
So
So
Should we just put it out there that we're never going back to one service?
yeah, we're not going back to one
We're
service.
not.
Well, you can never
Everybody who's
say-
watching,
never
everybody who's
say-
going to watch.
You can't say never.
Well, that's what
Never
you guys
say
have
never.
been saying.
foreseeable future.
I probably would have said I'd never live in Pennsylvania, but here I am.
Look at you, yeah.
So
And his wife definitely said nowhere cold, and
She
she's here.
did. Yeah.
As of right now, there are no.
that was her one
plans
condition when I was
to
looking
go
at
For the
back,
churches.
foreseeable future.
to go back.
There
So
are no
everybody
plans
on
at
Sunday,
this point.
don't come and ask. I'm not in charge of 2 services. I didn't make that. That was Tim and the elders. That was Tim and the elders. That wasn't me.
As of
There's a
right
lot
now,
of
there
weight to
is
that
no
too, though.
plan.
Yes.
There's currently no plan to go back to one service.
I'll take
It's a fact.
Tim's joke now. I do the Jesus songs and plan services that they say that are happening.
Yeah.
That's what I
There we
do.
go.
So
Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
So.
That's good.
Anyway, so what other kind of comments? We're coming up on our time. So any other kind of comments we need to make sure we cover that we want to touch base on or anything? I'm looking through our notes as our discussion today.
I know, me
and
too. I was looking back through the comments. I just posted a link to a current small group list for Melissa. I was asking for that.
Do we want to talk about what they might want to
She had an
expect
idea for a
next?
topic, taking
Like
the
what
gospel
they're
to the
gonna see
nations.
next about this. Sorry. I was saying, did we want to talk about what's coming next? Like what these guys can expect to see next about approaching this? It's only like a month away, so.
Well,
what's
we'll be
next?
talking about the equip classes coming up. We'll be probably just talking about more. We can get more people so that they'll be aware of it. We need to be talking about and emphasizing the community aspect of it and teaching people how to use it, why to use it. You know, the stuff like when you see somebody you don't know on a Sunday morning, say, hey, let's have dinner Wednesday night right here, me and you. You know, those are all things we just need to be talking to people about and help them to come to understand how to use it and why and what the benefit of that is. You know.
And then as soon as we have it nailed down, we'll get a class list that'll be made available, and so people can sign up for classes. So,
Yeah.
Any time frame on when that might be, that we'd have something out there they could sign up for? Roughish.
before the 29th.
Good, that's perfect. Good.
Grace is asking about the nursery. When will it be open and running on Wednesdays?
Well, for the VBS-like weeks, the first ones, we'll probably have it running the whole time, especially if there's people serving at the VBS that need that. Normally, it would be for that hour that we have classes. So moms and dads would stay with their kids and come and play or relax or whatever, for sure between 7 and 8. And then we can talk about other times, but that's what we're thinking right now. So how's that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay.
That sounds great. Good, good. Any other thoughts we need to cover, guys? I don't.
But, I mean, you have dinner before that and some hangout time. So if you just need someone to hold Judah,
We'll see.
you don't
where's
have to
that?
drop him in the nursery. There will
You
be
don't.
plenty
I'll
of
hold
people
Judah.
here.
We'll
Oh,
have
Judah Wyatt,
people
to hold
fight
him.
over the littles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a great
I mean,
place if you want to relax.
the nursery-sized kids
Yeah.
can just be passed off to anyone here.
I
Be-
agree.
It's true.
People
glad to
hover
hold 'em and-
around Grace.
Baby snatchers,
Can I-
I call
Waiting
them.
to.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, we warned them. Like, listen, he's like 25 pounds. And they're like, no, I'll hold him. And then, like, 5 minutes in, I'm done. He's big. And I'm like, yeah.
Grace has got some good arms.
Oh man, that's
You too.
funny.
Yeah.
So, what are some other things coming up we should touch on? We're coming up with a baptism service 10 days from now. This Sunday is first service, and if it is dry, we'll be outdoors this Sunday with communion. Jerry Schmoyer is leading us in communion this Sunday. And so we think that the weather forecast is going to be dry enough for us to be outdoors, so we plan on being outdoors. We have a work day coming up on
Next Saturday, the
yeah,
11th.
the 11th and all, and then the baptism's on the 12th. Picnic is after that. I feel like there's something I was thinking about mentioning, and I've already forgotten what it was. So, what else is coming up that we need to make sure we're mentioning to people and telling them about?
I want to invite people to come paint the mural. We're actually
Okay,
ready.
there you
It's
go.
all black lined in. We've got the numbers filled in.
In
so
the
it'll be-
downstairs hallway downstairs.
Mhm.
That's
So there'll be
right.
2 Saturdays in the mornings coming up here. We'll send a sign up. I'll send it to the whole church, I think, and just if anybody wants to come and contribute that way and be a part of that, bring your kids. Just bring yourself if you're single. Just come and paint anyhow. I've been trying to keep Mr. Adler off of it here. He's been.
I've agreed
he
to give it
loves
a couple weeks and
Yes, and then he's going to take
let
over.
other people
So
paint.
we should get this together. But that's
Yeah.
something fun coming up. So I'd
Good.
love to have everybody join us.
Good, good. MOPS starts up next week, right?
14th, I think.
The 14th.
So
okay.
a couple,
MOPS
2
starts
weeks.
on the 14th. Right.
Yep. Yeah. Men's retreat.
Men's retreats
In
on
a
the
couple weeks, 17th.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Yep. 2 weeks and all. I think there's 10 or 11 guys going out there for that. Really would love. If you've not thought about doing the men's retreat, I'd encourage you to consider doing it. And I think there's still time to do that. It's in the connection card and your email and all. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Did we
Wait.
forget anything?
Yeah, we forgot something.
What?
So I just have a question for you.
Oh. Yeah, we
It's
did
like-
forget this.
It's like if you're planning your anniversary party for your spouse,
Oh, boy.
if you're planning your birthday party for your 1-year-old or your 16-year-old,
A wedding.
a wedding, and you were to send out an invitation and say, would you please come, and no one ever responds to you, what would you think about that? Well, I just need to say that there are times here at church that's often my thought. I've invited all these people, or we've invited all these people to something, and they don't sign up for it. Why not? But they will come. And so,
But
I'm
that's,
just
yeah, you have
asking
to say that.
I'm
They'll
just-
come.
But they come. And so I'm just
That's
asking
good.
you that like if we ask you to sign up for it, it's because it helps us to plan, and it helps us to be able to be ready and do a good job when people respond to the sign up. And we're really not sure what to think when people don't sign up and still come, you know. And so that was just a polite encouragement from your pastor to consider signing up for things. All right? That'd be great. Thank you so much. All right. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was very passive aggressive. I mean, polite. That was very polite.
Because we had a long discussion about sign-ups and like why we do it. Why do we ask them to sign up? Because they'll never sign up. They just show up. You know, so anyway, that was
We're glad they show
that's where
up.
that discussion came from, if you're wondering, you know. So anyway, all right, we should quit now. Right? Is there anything else we need to address? I think that covers
No.
everything we're talking about this.
I don't
If you
think
have
so.
any questions about the new programming, if you have any thoughts about it, if you have anything you think would be a great addition to it, you know, please don't hesitate to catch up with primarily these two here in the middle about that. And if you come and talk to me about it, I'll say, go talk to them about that, you know, and that'd be great. And then spread the word about it, and you'll be hearing about it each Sunday between now and the end of the month when we actually kick it off, all right? So, Steve, what do you think we should do now?
I'm just looking. I didn't see anything that we missed,
Good.
so I think we're good.
All right, great.
And very few questions. I thought we might have a few more questions than that.
Well, Bill Barr wants to know if we're playing dodgeball, so.
or if he's getting a
Yes,
bigger kitchen.
dodgeball.
Or is he getting a
but
bigger-
no, because we're not going to be in the farmhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
So, sorry.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
all right, great. All right, good.
7:59.
7:59.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
great.
Really
Thank you
good.
guys for tuning in
Thank
tonight.
you.
We appreciate you, and
Thanks.
we'll hope to hear from you. And good night, India Adler down there in Texas.
Good night.
What's that?